Hi everyone, welcome. Hi everyone, welcome to another vlog or another vlog project, I should say. If you're like me, you use the Libby app to take out ebooks and audiobooks from your public library. And if you're like me even more, you have multiple library cards from multiple libraries. And so you have amassed a never-ending TBR of library holds that just seems to cycle through and cycle through. And you have some books that you just keep renewing or you keep putting on hold instead of just reading them. So what we're going to do in this vlog, it is now Sunday, October 8th. I'm going to see how many of these library holds I can get in one week. So when it reaches Sunday, October 15th, I'm going to see how many of these library holds I can get through.
Okay, it took me a month to finish this project, so ignore the fact that I said this was going to take only a week.
And I'm going to choose them randomly using this wheel website, okay? So I've put in most of them. What's not included in this list are any manga that I've taken out because I just tend to get through those very quickly. I have no problem reading the manga that I take out. And any sequels, so like The Bells is on here by Danielle Clayton because I want to reread it. But I also have The Everlasting Rose taken out. So I didn't put The Everlasting Rose because in order to read that, if it were to pop up, I would have to read The Bells anyway. Same with Dragon Pearl and Tiger's Honor. So I have Tiger's Honor checked out as well, but Dragon Pearl comes first. So there's just two that are not here because they're sequels. And not including those two sequels and not including any manga, I have 38 entries. 38 possible library holds that can be read during this week. So I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to spin the wheel and see what happens. Oh, okay, wow, that was very close to being Momo Harishi. We have Freddy versus the Family Curse, which is actually a new addition to my holds because I heard about it this past week on Instagram. Someone was talking about it. So let me go actually to Libby and pull it up so I can read you the synopsis. You can tell how many loans I have because I have to keep scrolling. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I have this borrowed as an audiobook. So it says, in this thrilling and hilarious middle grade adventure, a young Filipino-American boy must team up with his ancestor to break the curse that's haunted their family for generations, or be trapped in an amulet forever. Freddy Ruiz is cursed. While other people may have bad days, Freddy and his family have had bad generations. From bird poop splatting on him during picture day to the many tumbles and trips that earned him the nickname Faceplant Freddy. He's learned to lay low and keep himself out of trouble, which means no fun, no friends, and definitely no risk. But when he discovers a family heirloom, a century-old amulet from the Philippines that's supposed to bring good fortune, Freddy thinks his luck is finally about to change. He couldn't be more wrong, because the spirit of Freddy's cranky great-grand-uncle Ramon is trapped in the heirloom, and the evil spirits responsible for his death have returned with a vengeance. Now, Freddy and his cousin Sharky have 13 days to break the curse, or Freddy will join Ramon for an untimely afterlife in the amulet. This sounds awesome. Okay, wow. Whoa. Okay, that sounds great. That sounds excellent. Wow, okay, interesting. Very interesting. Part of me wants to spin the wheel again just to see if I'll get an ebook, but we'll do this one at a time. So my first book is Freddy versus the Family Curse by Tracy Badua. update on my enjoyment or my thoughts on Freddy versus the Family Curse before I ended up finishing the book. So I finally started reading it today, or listening to it today. Or maybe, did I start yesterday? I don't know, I think I started yesterday. But I read quite a bit today. I read up to 14% yesterday, and now I am at 74%. It is roughly like a 5.5 hour audiobook, and I'm listening to it on 1.5 speed. I'm really enjoying it. I would definitely read more from this author. The character of Freddy is just, he's so sweet. He's also has a really nice sense of humor. And what's so interesting is that I'm trying to think, and I can't recall if I've read many middle grade sci-fi or fantasy books, or even just like middle grade books in general, where their best friend is also a family member, because his best friend is also his cousin. Not the cousin that's part of the side of his family that's cursed, which is his father's side, but the side his cousin Sharky is from his mother's side, but they're super close. They're essentially best friends, and just their banter and going back and forth is really nice. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't usually in middle grade they have a best friend, of course, so they have 2 or 3 best friends, but it's not usually a family member, at least in terms of what I've read, which is pretty cool. The curse element is also really nice, and it's definitely real. Like, it's not something that's made up or in Freddy's head, and the stakes are real. Like, the stakes are truly real. You learn about how the curse came to be. You learn about how what war was it? Was it World War II that his great uncle fought in? So you get some history about the interaction between the United States and the Filipino soldiers that fought in World War II, which I thought was very interesting. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I have a little less than an hour and a half, so at 1.5 speed, that's, what is that, like an hour? Yeah. So I'm not going to finish it tonight because I'm actually going to go to bed very soon. But I wanted to just give an update. And I guess, should we pick the next book that I'm going to read? I guess we should, since I'm so close to finishing this one, and I don't know if I'll be out the house tomorrow when I do finish it. So let's head over to the Wheel of Names. Let us open up. Okay, we have Black No More by George S. Schuyler. That is a different mood than I am currently reading. I have the ebook hold of this. Black No More. Okay. Since I'm not finished with Freddy versus the Family Curse, I'm not going to tell you what Black No More is about just yet, but when I do start it, I will tell you. But we have our second book, and it's already on my Kindle's over there. It's already on my Kindle, so hello. Alright, so don't mind the birds or the TV in the background. I am 60% of the way through Seton Girls. This book is good. This book is good, and the turn that it's taking, or I don't even know if it's a turn, but just okay. My thoughts are all over the place because how the team has been winning all these years has not been explicitly stated, but it's kind of been hinted at, and I've been able to piece together some clues, and it's quite horrific. Like, you probably can't think of the worst thing that it could be. You'll probably be wrong. My boyfriend tried to guess, like, oh, how are they winning? And he was wrong. He was wrong. And he went like full horror. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I can stomach to finish it today. There are some reading sprints that Monet over on Life as Monet is hosting in a few minutes, and I think I'm gonna switch to another book for another video project. But yeah, that's where I'm at in terms of library books. I will say that it has definitely passed a week. I was knocked down. The migraine said pew 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 pew, and I like had a cold. It was too much all at once. So I'm trying to remember, what have I listened to for this video? I've listened to, or what have I read for this library video? I'm listening to Seton Girls. I listened to Freddy versus the Family Curse. So I have completed one book and started another one. The ebook, Black No More or Black Some More, or what is that called? Black No More. I have not started. It's been days and I just have not started it. And I don't know. It sounds like something I'd be interested in, but I don't want to read it right now. So should I use like the first 20 minutes of the sprints to read Black No More? Black Some More? What is the name of this book? Yeah, Black No More by George Schuyler. I think so. So I guess I'll tell you what it's about. Not me sounding super sad. Okay. It's 1933, and a near-future Harlem on the verge of massive transformation. Crowds are flocking to the new Black No More Sanitarium, brainchild of the mysterious Dr. Junius Crookman, eager to change the color of their skin and live free of the burdens of racism and prejudice. Black No More, published in 1931, George S. Schuyler's wildly invented masterpiece, begins with a premise out of pulp-era speculative fiction. What would happen in America if race, by the strange and wonderful workings of science, were suddenly no longer a fixed or meaningful category? In the carnivalesque mayhem that ensues as millions undergo Crookman's procedure and the old racial order is upended, Schuyler spares no one, mocking Klansmen and racemen alike, reveling in the myriad absurdities of the nation's racial obsession. By turns hilarious and, in an unforgettable lynching scene, utterly shocking, Black No More is Afrofuturist satire of the highest order. Okay. I guess there are just some books where you might never be in a mood to read them, even though they call to you and even though they are interesting. And I think that might just be what this book is for me, because that sounds totally up my alley, but for some reason I don't want to pick it up. And I think, honestly, I think what it is that it was published in 1931. Let's just call a buck, right? It was published in 1931. In my brain, that just translates to like hard to read. You know what's so funny? I have been actually using Libby. I've been listening to Libby, reading from Libby, but not the books from the stupid wheel. I haven't been doing that, and it's definitely been over a week, because I think I said, oh, like, how many library books can I read in a week? Yeah, it's been over a week. But let's do just a quick recap so far on what I have read from the library. So I think, I'm trying to think, since I started this video, where were we? What was the library? The library, oh, okay. Freddy versus the Family Curse, I took out from the library. Since Freddy versus the Family Curse, which was great, I talked about that already, I have read Fatal Fried Rice and Hot and Sour Suspects by Vivian Chien. And these are both cozy mysteries. These are in her A Noodle Shop Mystery Series books 7 and 8. Yeah, those are books 7 and 8. This is one of my favorite cozy mystery series. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the main character of Lana Lee and just the entire Asia Village community that they have created. So this series follows Lana Lee. She is the daughter of restaurateurs. Her parents run and own Holy Noodle House. And so she ends up, in the first book, she ends up trying to solve a mystery because I believe they suspect her cook. Strawberry. Yeah, I believe they like suspect the chef or something. Because you know, in like cozy mysteries, they always end up getting involved at first because someone close to them is suspected of the murder, and so they step in. But I ended up giving Fatal Fried Rice, I think 3.25 stars, because it wasn't giving what I needed it to give. In that one, Lana is taking a cooking class, and in like Chinese cuisine because, you know, funny enough, she can't cook Chinese cuisine, and she doesn't want to ask anyone in her family, and she doesn't want to ask the 2 chefs that work at the restaurant to teach her because she's embarrassed, and she wants it to be this surprise. The teacher or instructor of this course she's taking winds up dead, and I think what didn't work for me for this mystery is that because she went outside of her community, and not outside of her community like she went outside like the Asian community, she went outside of the Asia Village community, which is this plaza with a lot of Asian, well, with all Asian businesses, and this is like a hub in that. Is she in West Cleveland? Either West Cleveland? Yeah, I think she's in West Cleveland. And so, you know, they have the Holy Noodle House, they have a karaoke bar, they have a cinema shop, things like that. It's just, it is a plaza completely dedicated to different Asian ethnicities and their businesses. And so because in Fatal Fried Rice, she goes outside of Asia Village and the murder takes place outside of that community, it felt off. And I'm pretty sure my cat is yowling. Hold on. Strawberry, strawberry. Strawberry. Sometimes I can't tell if she's actually yowling or I'm just hearing it in my head. She was actually yowling. Oh, okay. Come here. Where'd you go? Come on. We were in the dining room together for a bit and she fell asleep. And then I left the dining room and I came downstairs, and I guess she realized I wasn't coming back, so she flipped out. Come on, because she doesn't like to sleep alone. Here. There you go. There you go. See? You don't have to cry. You big baby. I do still feel like I'm hearing a cat yowling, and I'm wondering if it's one of the cats outside. Anyways, so because the murder happened outside of the community and the person who was murdered was not a prominent or active member of that community, a lot of the investigating was done with like these random strangers, or there was barely any investigating. That was the other thing that got me with Fatal Fried Rice. I was like, are we investigating? And then towards the end, they have this like sit-down meeting where it's Lana, her 2 best friends, and her boyfriend who's a cop, and they're just like hammering it all out, and they kind of figure it out, but not really. And then of course she ends up actually coming into contact with the killer, and I don't know, that one just, I think the only reason it got 3.25 for me is because of that one scene where they're in her apartment and they're really like hammering it out and breaking it down, and then the twist is what really saved that book. And then Hot and Sour Suspects, I had the complete opposite reaction. I gave that one a straight 4 stars. I knew at like maybe the midpoint of that book, I was like, this is a solid mystery. So in this one, of course, it just flew out my brain, but I finished it yesterday, so I don't understand why. Oh, okay. So in Hot and Sour Suspects, Lana's friend meets this guy at a speed dating event that Holy Noodle House is hosting. Her and the guy go to his place, and the guy ends up dead while the friend is like in the bathroom. And so Lana's like, whoa, 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 this is my girl, we're not about to do this. And that is what is propelling her to solve this mystery. But her friend, Rena, is acting real shady the entire time. And so there's this back and forth, and really just like, this one felt like true sleuthing. Like her and her 2 girls, Megan, who's her roommate and her best friend, and Kimmy, who's her friend and also the daughter of another business family in Asia Village. They're like really going out and actively investigating, actively asking questions, actively looking for information. And this was a really, really strong one. The next book in the series is I think Misfortune Cookies, I think. I have it out in Libby, book 9, and I'm so excited because I finally found out that book 10, we're getting a book 10 in July, called Pecking Duck and Cover. So yeah, Misfortune Cookie is the next one. I gotta read this soon because this is due in 12 days and 2 people are waiting for it. So I'll probably jump right into Misfortune Cookie soon. I have read, I know this is like all over the place. Let's talk about the book that I rolled, because those two books that I just talked about were ebooks. The ebook that I rolled, Black No More, I read the first 8%, I think, and I don't know how I feel about it, which makes sense, you know, it's 8%, but at the same time, it's not a very long book, if I'm remembering correctly. It is, yeah, it's only 208 pages. So if I read, let's round that up to 10%. So if I read 10%, which means I read 20 pages, I would kind of get a feel for it. I'm going to give this until the 25% mark because it is so short, so that should be a good, what is that, 50 pages? Yeah, I'll give it until the 25 or 30% mark to see how I feel. Hopefully I am inclined to read it when I get in the bed. Let's talk about audiobooks. I am 71% in Seton Girls. This book is really, really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. I'm drawn back to it, but I'm not, how do I put this? I can't read it or listen to it for too long because I know that it is insidious in the misogyny. Like, it is just so, there's something about it where it's like, you know that something deeply misogynistic and sexist is happening, but because it hasn't been said yet, you're like, how come no one else sees this? And there is a character who sees it, but she is being discounted and isolated because she has dared to essentially disrupt the status quo and be like, listen, the way that we put this football team and the boys on this football team up on a pedestal and they are untouchable and they know that they're untouchable is not cool. And the main character, our protagonist who is telling this story, she's a junior, she's the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, and so it's interesting because she's not the one who is disrupting the status quo. She has become friends with that girl, and the way that she's telling the story is like a report. So she's telling what's happening in the current day, and then she's gotten accounts from back in the past, and we're seeing how these two things are connected and how what is happening in the present day has been allowed to happen and occur and essentially fester. I will not be ending this vlog until I finish Seton Girls. That is just like my own personal decree because I think this is the star of this vlog. In terms of other audiobooks that I checked out from the library, I also listened to Nightmare Island. This is going to be a really long clip, but we're just going to roll with it and rock with it, okay? Nightmare Island, which is a middle grade horror book, and this book was, I just got goosebumps just thinking about it. This follows Serenity. What's her full name? Serenity what? Nightmare Island. And this is by Shakira Bourne. So we have, yeah, Serenity, and her parents like quiet, right? They like quiet, they like peaceful, happy thoughts. And Serenity she's loud, she's boisterous, she likes horror movies, and she just feels like kind of out of place, and she feels as if she is kind of stifled because of her parents' just overall personalities. Not that they're necessarily doing it in a malicious way, but she is not the basically that relationship is like when your parents say like, I don't know where you came from. Like her parents are literally like, we don't know how you're like this. But her little brother Peace is quiet and he's sweet and he's not boisterous, but they have such a strong bond because Peace kind of balances out Serenity and Serenity balances out Peace. So when Peace starts being afraid of the dark, and oh, another thing, Serenity can hear the music of people's souls, which was such a fascinating thing. And so, and by music, it's or she can hear the soundtrack of people's souls because she's an aspiring film creator. She's an aspiring film artist, and so she can hear the soundtrack to people. So like she describes her mother as being a light spring rain, and she knows her mother is upset when that light spring rain changes in pattern or becomes more intense. The only one who doesn't have any music is her brother Peace, which has always been weird to her. So Peace begins to be afraid of the dark, and he's unable to sleep. So her parents decide that Peace is going to, well, Serenity is going to stay with the grandmother, and they're going to take Peace to this island, to this doctor that he used to see when he was younger. And Peace is like, y'all not about to go on vacation without me. So she ends up sneaking off after them, and they end up on Duppy Island. And if you know anything about Caribbean folk tales, you know that Duppies are, or Duppy children, they are children who essentially kind of have no face. Like, they don't have eyes, they don't have a mouth. They have, like, I guess the dents of eyes and mouths and noses, and their feet are backwards. And they, like, if you get caught by them, they pull you into the forest, and, like, that's it. And so she ends up going to Duppy Island, and there's this mysterious but shady doctor, Dr. Whisper, and it just takes off from there. And when I tell you the twist was twisty, that was a good book. That was a good, solid book, to the point where I was like, what else has this author written? Because I want to listen to it. And then I also took out and read, or listened to, Conjure Island by Eden Royce, who is the author of Root Magic, which I read a year or two ago and absolutely loved. And so Conjure Island follows, what's her name? I like literally finished this 2 days ago. Where is it? Conjure Island. What's her name? Delphina, or Del. So Delphina is the child of, is he in the Navy or the Army? The military, right? So he's often away, and her grandmother do a lot of moving around because he gets put in different locations. And so Delphina has no real connections to people her own age. She spends a lot of time with her grandmother, who she loves and she adores. Soon after they move into their new house, however, her grandmother suffers some kind of medical emergency, and the grandmother calls up her mother, so Delphina's great-grandmother, and is like, I'm gonna need you to take her for a few weeks, right? So, mind you, the grandmother never talks about Delphina's mother, who is her daughter. So, this grandmother is her maternal grandfather, not her, her grandmother is the mother of Delphina's mom, right? So she's the one who's majority basically raising Del, because the dad is away at his job. And Delphina's grandmother just does not talk about Delphina's mom at all, who died during childbirth or shortly after childbirth. And her grandmother also never talked about her own mother and her own roots and her own family. So suddenly Delphina has to go away, but she has to go to, where do they send her? Yeah, they send her to this island in the South Carolina coast, and she is suddenly sort of like having to learn, and she wants to learn about her family. She's never had any real roots, and she finally has a chance to get some answers. But also turns out that her grandmother left this island on bad terms, but like no one wants to talk about it, so she's trying to figure that out. But also there's a fantasy element to it. There's a fantasy element. We have ourselves some conjure witches. So not only do you have a young girl going away to meet this relative that she has no idea about, has never met, and is trying to figure out her family and the like disconnect between her grandmother and her great-grandmother, but you also have her learning conjure magic and becoming a witch and being around other children of this ancestry and of this culture who are learning about conjure magic. And this book was just awesome. It was awesome. I highly recommend it. That one and Nightmare Island. But yeah, so it's Black No More is just really me and Black No More. I'm back to that book. You know what? I'm gonna give it until 25% or 30%, and then I'll make my judgment call on it. Talk to me, it's what I want the most in my life. They say you're out of my league, but I don't give a damn. No, deep down, I know you want it. You wanna take a leap and jump in. You wanna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome if you just kiss me slowly and have me in your arms? If I can make you see it, baby, with this
leap and jump in. We're gonna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome if you just kiss me slowly and have me in your arms? Oh, you make me up, hey, let's go out. When I see you rolling, hey, light me up. I love when you do it like that. Oh, hey, could be us, kissing in the moonlight. Hey, I can see it if I was your girlfriend.
Alright, so I think I said that the next time I updated about Black No More, I would be at like the 30% mark. I'm not. I'm at the 18% mark, and I will be continuing on with this book. First of all, it reads really quickly, and I don't know, it's interesting. The beginning was a little like, I guess I just had to get used to the writing, but I do like the pace at which we're going, and it's fascinating. I did think that we would get more description of the procedure that our protagonist, Max, undergoes to be black no more and to be white, but that like happened off screen. And what's also interesting is that we are doubling between Max, our protagonist, and the doctor and his crew, Dr. Crookman, who is the one who found out how to do this and is charging $50 for, as they say, Negroes to come in and change their appearance and become white. And it's so funny because they were reading newspaper articles about, and it was newspapers in the South that were like freaking out about how, you know, you don't know, they're among us and we can't detect them, and how would you feel if your daughter married a passing Negro and then the baby came out black and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, we saying something now. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think I just had to get used to the writing, honestly, which sometimes that happens. I have not made any more progress in Seton Girls. I'm still at 70%. Yeah, that's really all I got on those two, but it's been fun. It's definitely been fun.
Sometimes you think about all the ways I'm making you smile. I know I am what you need, and boy, you're just my type. Deep down, I know you want it. You wanna take a leap and jump in. We're gonna fall in love. You get me spinning, wouldn't it be awesome if you just kiss me slowly and have me in your arms? Oh, you make me up, hey, let's go out. When I see you rolling, hey, light me up. I love when you do it like that. Oh, hey, could be us, kissing in the moonlight. Hey, I can see it if I was your girlfriend.
I don't even know how long it's been since I've updated this vlog, but I am determined to finish Seton Girls so that I can finish this project up and get it out to you guys. I'm at 84%. The book is good, but there's absolutely no reason that it should have taken me weeks to finish this, and it's only taken me weeks because I'm not pulled back to this story. I think it's a wee bit too long, and I'm actually curious about how long it is physically. I do have the physical copy. Alright, so physically, this book is 305 pages. That's it? Why is it taking so long? I don't understand. Yeah, alright. So we're about to knock this out right now. I do have to clean my dresser. I'm tired of looking at it in this state. So I'm going to light a candle, put this audiobook on, and finish this audiobook. I have 1 hour and 24 minutes left. I've been listening to it at 1.7 speed. I might bump that up to 1.75 and see how that sounds. And the next clip, hopefully, of me talking will be my final thoughts on this book. here for videos or for vlogs or even for my other videos, but I finished Seton Girls, gave it 3.75 stars. It's a good book. I think the one fault that it, well, two faults for me at least, is that the pacing is wonky. It's very wonky, and you don't really get the full purpose of the type of storytelling that is occurring until the end, which was fun. It was a nice, like, okay, I get why this story is told the way that it is. And also, the main character kind of doesn't have a personality. Yeah, I think that's also why it was so hard for me to get through it, is that the main character kind of doesn't have a personality. All the other characters that she comes into contact with have a personality. And if I'm being really honest with you, I don't remember the main character's name. And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe because it is very journalistic in the way that it's told, which makes sense because the main character is the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, but she does not have a personality. Wow, yeah, I just realized that. That's probably why I was never pulled back to read it, because nothing about her. And I get it, because due to what is happening in the book, and I'm being very vague on purpose because, you know, it's a good book, go read it, but like there's a main spoiler, but because of the nature of what is happening in the book, it makes sense that our main character is slightly removed from the thick of it. Yeah, so 3.75 stars is not bad at all. I do not see myself physically reading this book. If I do reread it, it will probably be via audio. So if you're interested in adding this to your collection, which I do highly recommend, like this is a book I would recommend, check out my Pingo Book storefront because it will be there and brand new. I believe a publisher sent this to me in like a YA book. Brand new, never before been read. I just cracked it open today to like see how many pages it was, so go check out my Pingo Book storefront. And we have reached the end of this video. What have I read? I read Freddy versus the Family Curse, which was great. I think it was 4 stars. Maybe it was more than that, I don't know. I also read Seton Girls? I feel like there was a book in between that. Oh, I think I rolled for Black No More. That's a book I'm gonna have to take my time with. Maybe if I do another one of these Libby library vlogs again, which maybe I'll do this once a month, maybe that one will be a rollover into that project. I feel like there was another book. No, there wasn't. I've only read 2 books in this entire vlog. Seton Girls really took a month. I checked my story graph. It took me a month to listen to that book, which is interesting. But yeah, I feel like these projects, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below. Are you guilty of this? Are you guilty of taking out books from the library, either physically or via the Libby app, and then you just keep pressing the renew button and you never actually get to them? Or are you a sane person who reads the books that you check out from the library on time? Because I read them, just not on time. Make sure to subscribe for more content. Follow me on all of my socials. If you're interested in getting a nice, can't really see it, but a nice cozy sweatshirt or a shirt, check out my Etsy shop below, as well as my Pingo Book storefront, and I will see you in another video. Peace.
Showing. I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. With Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Plus I'm copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm in the sky.